दरिया झीली रे दरिया झीली रे जब मोरी चादर बन घर आई रंग को दी रंग को दी वो ऐसा ऐसा झीली रे झीली रे झीली रे कर दी चदरिया झीली रे चादर शंका मत करिया ये 2 दिन तो दिन ही चदरिया ये 2 दिन ही रख झीली रे रस भीनी चदरिया झीली रे ध्रुव प्रहलाद सुदामनी चदरिया ध्रुव प्रहलाद सुदामनी सुखदेव ही चदरिया सुखदेव ही आस कदे दास कभी चौकी त्यों धर दीनी चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी रे झीनी रे झीनी कर दीनी चदरिया झीनी रे चदरिया 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 चदरिया. Thank you.
Namaskar, everyone. We at Ramashram Satsang Mathura strongly believe that all our gathering start with the presence of Param Pujya Shri Guru Maharaj Ji. With him in mind, I would request Pujya Shri Mohit Ji to please light the lamp. On behalf of the Ramashram Satsang Mathura family, and by the grace of Param Pujya Shri Guru Maharaj Ji, I would like to welcome all of you to this session. My name is Vishal, and like some of us here in the room, I also have a living in Bangalore, working for the IT industry. Now, I am the third generation in my family to be associated with Ramashram Satsang Mathura. And considering that I've seen my parents and grandparents to be involved with Ramashram Satsang, it was very intuitive for me to be following the preachings, what have been told by my parents. But I being me and coming from the generation that I come from, sharing that with some of you here, I started this journey by questioning things, right? So questions like, what is Ramashram Satsang Mathura? Or why do I need to follow the preachings? As well as, talking about what is in it for me to be following Ramashram Satsang Mathura. And that actually led me to attending some of the weekly satsang meditation sessions and the Bhavya Bhandaras with thousands of other people that happened around the globe, right? Yearly around the globe. This is where these same questions, which were in my mind initially, I was more of a rebellious questions, that started to convert into curiosity for learning more. This meditation practice, as told by the Ramashram Satsang family and by Param Pujya Shri Guru Maharaj Ji, has got many of us started on this journey towards achieving thoughtlessness. Right? Without getting too much into my story as such, let me just start with this quote, and then we'll move on to learning more about Ramashram Satsang Mathura. The quote that has stuck with me for around 20 years or so is, we are not humans on a spiritual journey, but we are spiritual souls on a human journey. With that, can we please have a short introduction on Ramashram Satsang Mathura?
Namaskar, everyone. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to the Inner Peace Workshop organized by Ramashram Satsang Mathura. Ramashram Satsang Mathura is a non-profit organization that strives to promote peace, harmony, and spiritual growth among individuals. The Inner Peace Workshop is a step towards achieving this goal. The workshop will help you explore your inner self and discover the peace that lies within you. Let us start with a brief history of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. On November 3rd, 1883, a noble soul, Param Sant Dr. Chaturbhut Sahaji, was born in the northern Indian province of Etah. He would later become the founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. He studied Urdu, Farsi, English, Hindi, and Sanskrit. He had a degree in electrohomeopathy and possessed basic knowledge of Ayurveda that he used for selfless social service. Dr. Chaturbhut Sahaji, our Guru Maharaj, met Lalaji Maharaj, his Guru, also known as Dada Guru, during the course of his Ayurveda practice in Fatehgarh. Over the years, their association gradually deepened. During an epidemic, they had the opportunity to spend more time together. Guru Maharaj experienced an indescribable dissemination of intrinsic power towards him whenever he was in the company of Dada Guru. It was during this time that Dada Guru passed on the knowledge of this unique method of meditation to Guru Maharaj. There were no spoken words or scriptures read. There was just a silent transfer of knowledge, reliving the Guru-disciple tradition yet again. Our system of meditation is based on what Guru Maharaj learned from Dada Guru that day. In 1919, Dada Guru directed Guru Maharaj to propagate this system of meditation to as many seekers as possible. Guru Maharaj, upholding the ethics of the Guru Shishya Parampara, followed his Guru's directive in letter and spirit. He dedicated his entire life towards propagating this little-known but unique method of meditation and influenced thousands of spiritual seekers who he came into contact with, without any discrimination based on religion, social, or economic status. Due to Guru Maharaj's efforts and Dada Guru's blessings, the satsang's popularity increased at a fast pace. In 1931, Dada Guru Maharaj personally attended the first spiritual congregation, or Bhandara, organized by Guru Maharaj in Etah, where he used to reside during that time. Let us now introduce some other saints in the Ramashram Satsang family. An epitome of piety, purity, and compassion, Jia was spiritually empowered and had been declared spiritually proficient by 3 gurus: Dada Guru Maharaj, Mahatma Raghuveer Dayalji, and Fakir Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan Sahib. This was unprecedented at that time. For Jia, all followers were her children. She treated everyone in the family with love and compassion and tirelessly attended to the ones who needed help. Pandit Mihilalji and Guru Maharaj's eldest son, Dr. Brajendra Kumarji, conducted satsang activities under Jia guardianship. Panditji played a very important role and made extensive contributions to the propagation and proliferation of the satsang. The current form of the satsang in India is mainly due to Panditji Maharaj's ardent hard work. He held the important post of the editor of the Sadhan magazine for several years, and his contribution to the satsang literature has been immense. Dr. Brajendra Kumarji worked closely with Panditji in shaping the satsang. Subsequently, several prominent personalities, including Hemendra Kumarji and Narendra Kumarji, served the satsang and are continuing to do so. Throughout the workshop, you will be guided by an experienced spiritual leader, Sanjeev Ji, who will help you learn the technique to find inner peace and overcome stress, anxiety, and negative emotions. You will also have the opportunity to interact with other like-minded individuals during the breakout session after the meditation. Here, during the question and answer session, you will be able to ask any questions that you may have. We believe that inner peace is essential for a fulfilling life. And we hope that this workshop will help you find that peace within yourself. We urge you to approach the workshop with an open mind, be receptive to new ideas and techniques, and participate actively in the session. We wish you a rewarding and enriching experience during the workshop. Thank you for joining us today.
Finding the peace within yourself. We at the Ramashram Satsang family in Bangalore feel blessed today and privileged to be in the presence of Sri Mohitji, and will later in the session be also joined by Sri Sanjeev ji over online connect. Talking a little bit about Mohit Chacha ji here. So Dr. Mohit Kumar, the way I would want to address him today, is a professor in the Department of Orthopedics. He is a native to Jaipur and has been practicing meditation for almost 35 years now. He is the facilitator of Ramashram Satsang Mathura in India, and he has obviously a pan-India presence. He has been hosting and guiding Satsang sessions all over India, and like his guru, he believes that we do not need to relinquish the current lifestyle to attain inner peace or internal joy. His systematic and scientific approach to complex issues like inner peace, internal progress, guided meditation practices is very insightful. With that, I would want to hand it over to Mohit Chacha ji.
So first of all, I welcome you all on the behalf of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. Many of you had attended the last session on inner peace. So I want to know, what do you understand by inner peace? Or what is your definition of peace? Anyone?
Silencing the chatter in the mind.
Yes. So according to my understanding of peace is when you have no desire, no thought, or lack of anxiety. And you just don't need anything from anyone. So what is anxiety? When a thought keeps on coming up, popping up, without reaching a logical conclusion. Because most of the time, the solution or the action is not in our hand. Like, will it be raining in the evening at the time of event? As the weather is not in our hand, so it will be best if we just leave it to Guru Maharaj. Whatever he may like. So hence it is said, the man proposes and God disposes. First, we should be clear that ocean of peace lies within you. No external thing or environment can give you lasting peace. Momentary or temporary peace may be achieved when a long-standing goal is achieved. But soon we get another desire, so we entrapped into that desires. So if we get the job, we start thinking about marriage, car, home, etc. And in old age, we think about children getting settled, married, or thinking about grandchildren or looking after them. So someone has said that desires end only when the person dies. But if you want to get peace while still living or reach to the ocean of peace, you have to go inside yourself. You had to just dissociate from your attention from outside world and turn your consciousness inside yourself. Our eyes see all the things, but only outside. Eyes can't see inside ourselves. So the meditation which our Guru Maharaj has given us, turn your consciousness inwards so that we can experience the God that lies within us. So Guru Maharaj has said that out of 24 hours of the day, you can do your worldly affair in 20 hours, but for just 1 hour, and that also in 2 halves, twice daily, forget or leave that worldly affairs and thank the God for who had given you all that you have got. So God nurtures all of us like his own children, and does not matter if we recognize the grace of God or not. A newborn does not know about mother or father. So it doesn't mean that mother will leave the newborn unattended. We worship the God for our own interest. So if we look about child father, so the child who get most of the parents' attention, love or property is the one who sits beside the parents, obeys him, help them and help fulfill their desires. We just have to keep God happy and make our life as he wants us to be. Be a good person and inspire others to take the right path. As far as the importance of Guru in life, he said that if you want to go to the Mangalore, if we don't know the way, we will go to a person who had been gone there and ask for direction, precaution, tricks, etc. And this person who is giving or guiding us is called Guru. Secondly, you might be remembering that in old times, at places where robberies were frequent, there was a convoy system. A group of vehicles were escorted by police is sent. And more older days, trader used to go making a convoy to minimize robberies or theft. And in all religions and sects, group meditation is done. As the devil used to distract people, it is said that empty mind is devil's workshop. Try to get good thought by meeting good people, reading good books, or meditate. Otherwise, bad thoughts will take over you. That's why many satsang are being run. And this is the reason why this group meditation is being organized. Param Pujya Bade Bhaiya had told us that power of collective approach. He gave the example of independence struggle of India, when collectively unarmed, weak, poor Indian stood before the armed, strong British soldiers. The result was that horn of the Queen of England, 7 seas apart, got shaken up. Likewise, the God's throne also shakes up when people collectively pray. Same thing we will do today. And we will collectively practice the meditation which our Guru Maharaj has told. Please sit in a posture that you can sit for about half an hour without moving. Close your eyes and imagine that God is present before us and in incandescent form, and light emitting from him is entering our hearts, and our heart getting illuminated. Our whole body is illuminated and we are merging within this light. Prayers will be sung before and after the meditation, and we will be keeping our eyes closed till the prayer lasts. Yes, ma'am.
we are now in the presence of Shri Sanjeev Kumarji as well. He's joining us from the US. Brief introduction before we hand it over to him and continue the session. So Shri Sanjeev Kumarji is the facilitator and speaker of this orientation session, which is on inner peace through guided meditation run under the aegis of Ramashram Satsang Mathura, the India chapter. Shri Sanjeev Kumarji has been participating in meditation for over 40 years. He was impressed with the effects of meditation in his life and has been facilitating guided meditation session in the Washington area and across the US for the last 2 decades, along with collective sessions in India led by Shri Mohitji, Shri Amitji, and Shri Alokji. We would request now Puja Amit Puja Sanjeev Chachaji to please help us move forward.
So what we just practiced, would take us to inner peace in a effective and efficient way. So whatever Guru Maharaj learned from his guru, he packaged it for us, and that's what we just practiced. So if we step back and look at this inner peace method, which he called Satsang, and it's a pretty unique approach, very almost it comes from so many different approaches that have been researched over thousands of years. So this unique method is called Satsang. So now, today, I wanted to step back and look at how Satsang and yoga are similar and what are the dissimilarities. So Satsang, if we break it down, is to be with Sat, to be in the company. So Sat is the positive energy or the positive state. Let's call it the transcendental energy. And Sang would be to be with, in the company of. So to be with transcendental energy would be the target state of Satsang. Now, yoga, if you just translate the word, it is the union, and union with what? Basically, the transcendental energy. So yoga is also, the balance of body, mind, and soul, because in that state is where, we would be in this natural state where we become the energy. We unite with that energy. So let's, so if we break it down, Maharishi Patanjali, when he described, the philosophy in Yoga Sutra, basically he came up with a framework. And if that framework, of 8 limbs, so like our body is made up of different limbs, each one of those needs to be nurtured. So same way, if yoga was a body, the 8 limbs would be, describing that whole, the whole thing, like the yoga overall has these 8 elements. And what is interesting is that everybody in the world now understands asanas and pranayams or physical exercises and breathing exercises. But out of those 8, those are just the 2. 4 of them, which is pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, which is inward orientation, manifestation, or object of concentration, meditation, and the higher consciousness. That's all these 4 are basically meditative practices. So initially, I said satsang would be a difficult thing a difficult word to understand. So why not just call it inner yoga? So inner yoga is those 4 limbs: inward orientation, manifestation, meditation, and higher consciousness. The other 4 limbs, you can. So Guru Maharaj said that if you focus on the top 4, the rest will come into place. That's one aspect of it. But the other thing is, if you were to meditate and you have more control on your mind, the chances that you would be able to work out more, live a more healthier life, which is the core of the outer yoga, the physical and breathing exercises. And then if we look at yam and niyam, the traits that we need to give up, and traits that we need to acquire, none of that can happen without the willpower, the inner strength. And the inner strength would come from inner yoga. So that's the key that I wanted to emphasize today. So if let's look at giving up violence. So traits that we want to give up, right? Lying, stealing, not being able to conserve energy, and the worldly and material possessions. So all this we want to give up. So let's just say that, you don't want to lie, and hence you want to be truthful. If you want to be truthful, you need that inner strength to be able to do that, because we would fear, what if this happens, or what if that happens? Unless you have this inner strength, you won't be able to follow actually any of this. And then comes the code of conduct, or niyams, which is like cleanliness and purity, which I think if you look at any meditative practice, it's the inner and outer cleanliness and purity that is so important. And then, being content with what you have, again, unless you feel complete from inside, how would you ever be able to feel that way? Most of us don't. Self-discipline. Now, self-discipline, as Mohitji was, quoting my eldest uncle, Guru Maharaj's eldest son, Dr. Brajen Kumarji, he used to say that this satsang runs on the collective self-discipline. Sanyam is, a powerful, very, very, very powerful force that you acquire by following, Ashtanga yoga or satsang, inner yoga, or all these things kind of develop various aspects within our behavior. So these are behavior patterns that you ought to follow. But I think Guru Maharaj said that if you have the inner strength that you acquire through meditation or inner yoga, you would be able to follow these. Otherwise, it's only talk and not walking the walk. Now, self-study, another niyam, which is, adhyan, manan, nidyasan. So basically, introspection, sitting back and looking at that again, that is very, very integral to any meditative practice, especially satsang. I heard somebody mentioning that it shows you a mirror. You see yourself during this practice that we just did. Surrender is an interesting concept, Samarpan. Yoga would not happen. Yoga is, if that was the union with transcendental energy, or satsang target state would be to merge with that energy or become that energy. You become something else, which is bigger than you yourself. You transcend this world when you give in your limited identity into the limitless identity. So that's what that is. Now, if we continue, you on the next slide. Now let's just take, so if actually, Yuan, could you bring inner yoga slide first, and then we'll come to this. Sorry about that. The fourth one, the inner yoga, not this. Yeah. So inner yoga, as described by Guru Maharaj, emphasizes 4 limbs of Ashtanga yoga. So inward orientation, concentration, meditation, and higher consciousness. Interestingly, what I realized was that every session that we have of this inner peace workshop, before meditation, there is an instruction. And that instruction, which you heard, covers 5, 6, and 7, literally, like, or 5 or 6, and then drives into 7. So inward orientation, so look inwards. So you close your eyes, you sit in a relaxed posture, and you then think of the presence of this transcendental energy, and you focus, you manifest that energy. You concentrate on the transcendental light. And when you go deeper into that, so you start with that concentration, start manifesting that light. And then when you go deeper into that state for real, you experience what, the meditative state really would be. And that would result into higher consciousness. And Maharishi Patanjali describes various samadhis. So I don't want to get into all the detail, but Yuan, if you go back to that slide of samadhis, this pyramid, we saw last time also in the context of 5 steps to inner peace. If the worldly state was the realm of the world, and then realm of life, realm of mind, realm of knowledge, and realm of love. Each one, so obviously in the realm of the world, we are focused primarily on, the safety and security aspects of our life, eat, drink, and be merry. So obviously, there is no samadhi there. But as soon as you step a little towards meditative practices, the first step in itself, where you would utilize any sort of focus or concentration of mind, the first experience that is described in scriptures is called Jad Samadhi, or the early stage of, so if at the top of the pyramid, you are in a thought-free state, here in the realm of life, people sometimes force themselves to be thoughtless. A subtle difference, but a pretty significant one. So realm of life, sometimes people do force themselves to be thoughtless, but it's not really a higher consciousness state. Higher consciousness states start from realm 3. In realm 3, people who practice this meditation that we just practiced, these 3 stages in realm 3 actually come pretty quickly. So there are stages where you feel so refreshed, and so there are like 3 energies and 3 states in the realm of mind. One where you feel really good after meditation, within meditation, driven by positive energy. Then there is more like you close your eyes, it's all dark, there's no positive, uplifting sense anymore. It's very, sometimes lethargy, and like you get caught in this negative, and dark energy. And that is why Guru Maharaj said that, yes, you will feel good, you will feel positive most of the time, but then there are these other stages which you have to go through. So you ought to focus on practicing just for the sake of practice, not to think that, okay, only if I feel positive, then it's a good meditation. When you, my father used to say that when you start cleaning the room, the dust that was settled will start, it will be, shaken off from where it was, and that will cause us to, be a little shaken up, and you feel that you are going in the reverse direction, which is not the case. It's just part of the cleaning process. So there are, and then there is a third state where you feel that you close your eyes and a movie-like state comes in, where you instead of feeling you are getting thought-free, or you are concentrating, you close your eyes and a movie type scenarios start going through. So again, another cleansing process. So those three energies, positive, which gives you a refreshing, positive, uplifting feeling, negative, which is dark and gives you more, pulls you down type of feeling. And then this state where there is a barrage of thoughts of things that you have seen or not seen. Those three states are somewhat, of like three samadhis or higher consciousness states that typically you feel in the realm of mind. These three are not necessarily, samadhis of very higher awareness, higher consciousness kind, but they are very important, very key to your progress to the realm of knowledge, where, is where these samadhis then become a lot more deeper, more, and they are in the true sense of higher consciousness, where, in the realm of knowledge, you get into these states where you are in a consciousness state where there are, Savikalp and Nirvikalp, I think is the state is called, but it's where, so Guru Maharaj said, like, you might feel that you are at a higher consciousness state, but these are experiences that stay with you for a long period of time. They are things that occur, like states that occur, and that it's almost like ayahuasca, when out of body feeling happens and you remember that literally forever. Similarly, these higher consciousness states do happen. They stay for some time, for a very short period of time sometimes, or higher period of time. And so realm of knowledge and realm of love in the fourth and fifth realms, there are two types of these higher consciousness states in each of those, where, once you feel that, or experience that, then it's literally your brain gets rewired, in the sense it's almost that part of the transformation that happens through this journey. So anyway, I have I think video on the YouTube channel which I describe a little more of this. So now coming back to what is yoga, in Yoga Sutra, Maharishi Patanjali says, yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of mind, which I think somebody today mentioned that. So yoga's chit vritti nirodh, the way I kind of translate that is, if not just your conscious mind, but your subconscious and unconscious mind is, stops these fluctuations or waves or thoughts, then you are in the state of yoga. So you necessarily, yes, asanas and pranayams can help you move towards that, but until unless you do inner yoga or the dharana, pratyahar, and dhyan and samadhi, which is the four meditative limbs of Ashtanga yoga, without those, you cannot reach this goal. So that's all I wanted to highlight today. I think Mohitji, you can wrap up with Prashant.
So we would now move on to any questions that you might have. Just let us know. We'll bring a mic over to you.
Hello, sir. Good evening. It was a very lightening session when you said about the inner consciousness. So I have a question that when we are in a deeper state of meditation, we have the two feelings. Either it is a deep silence or it is a lot of happiness. So which is the state of the reality, the Brahman?
So basically, I think our natural state is beyond the dvait, which is the ups and downs or happiness, unhappiness. Let's call it anand, which is joy. So joy, which is unaltered because of something happening or not happening, something we have or don't have. It's a state which, I call it love, light, and peace. But we can also, scriptures refer to Sat Chit Anand. So Sat is that never changes or positive energy. Chit is still, and Anand is joy. So a state of never changing joy where there are no ups and downs or oscillations. I think that would be the target state. But Mohitji, if you want to add something.
So usually the silence and happiness do happen initially also, but permanent joy comes later.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Yep. So this is regarding the 3 points you mentioned, the 3 states where during the practice, either it will be the positiveness, which gives happiness, and the negative thoughts, which brings us down. And the third one is where we just feel the silence and don't get any other thoughts. So where does the clinging comes into the picture, or is this the involved within the process?
So the 3 energies, Sat, Raj, and Tam. Sat is, so when Maharishi Patanjali was doing his research, he realized that there are 2 forces that are in works within us. One is very rapidly falling downwards. He called it Tam. And then other one is very slowly moving upwards. He called it Sat. And then with the 2, there is this motion. So Raj, which is, more motion oriented. So a pure Sat will be, like all bright and white and, positive. And pure thumb is very dark and negative. But when these two combine, then the motion happens either upwards or downwards. So these three energies in the realm of mind basically cause you to, meditation is a way to push Sat or level of Sat or capacity of Sat up. And that's why it's called Satsang. So when your Sat or the positive energy is dominant, and one of the things in Bhagavad Gita, it's mentioned that Sat, Raj, and Tam, these three energies, only one is dominant at one time. So when Sat is dominant, you feel very positive, very uplifted, very, it is a very, typically meditation I would relate to is the Sat, feeling good, feeling refreshed, feeling very uplifted, feel the connection, feel the presence, and so on and so forth. Thumb is completely the opposite, where you close your eyes, it's dark, it's like you're feeling down, you don't feel like meditating, etc., etc. And the Raj is actually creating us to be action-oriented, where thoughts will come without any control, even during meditation. So these three states are all important states. You cannot cross the realm of mind or the third realm in the five realms until unless you go through each of these states, or which one stays longer, which one is shorter may vary with people, but you have to go through each of these. And each of these, in that sense, are part of your inner cleansing, depending on how, ready you are, or how your inner self is oriented. You will find that one of these is more dominant than the other at different times.
So what you meant by the silence, absence of thoughts, that is called samadhi. Then we don't have a thought about the God, ourselves, and whatever we are doing. So we just been told about various types of samadhis. So there are 5 koshes, and every kosh has different type of samadhi. And when we go through them, then we reach to the goal.
So does that answer the question? Hopefully it does.
Namaskar and Ram Ram Guruji. My question is about the very first point which Dr. Mohit said about desires. So it's a very naive and silly question that we said that half an hour morning, half an hour evening, we will be doing this meditation. But in the current world, we have been targeted by these advertisements and all these things, right? And services like YouTube and mail services, all of these are essential for us.
Mhm.
And 10 to 12 hours, we have been continuously targeted by these systems which take us towards these desires, right? So is this a time, like 1 hour of every day, is this sufficient to clean what that 10 to 12 hours of damage that we get every day?
So every machinery needs a rest. So your mind is continuously doing work. So this meditation is giving rest to the brain. And all these newspaper, television, YouTube, they all contaminate our mind, and it unnecessarily entangle our minds. So the meditation is cleansing process for that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So if you play music or meditate, that is the time when your mind rests. So the recent neuroscience research finds that when we are physically resting, even then our mind is not necessarily resting. So that is why meditation was, is so ancient and old approach to actually, as Mohitji said, to rest your mind, you need to get your brain to do something, one specific thing, rather than, the barrage of thoughts that keep our mind activated, brain activated. So that's one aspect. The other interesting thing, your question. So there are other ways in which, people found this inner peace or the goal of yoga or satsang through giving up the world, giving up, going to the monasteries and to the Himalayas and giving themselves to the service of church, etc. But what about the common people? Would common people be able to get a higher consciousness state? So in Sant Mat, the thought process was that, hey, if you could find someone who is at that higher state, just their presence could make you understand that state better, even acquire that state more easily, and learn the path to that state. So that thought process came. And Guru Maharaj actually pushed it a little further. He said that if you kept doing everything else that you need to do to live a normal life for 23 hours, but the other hour, that 24th hour, if you were to completely give up your focus on everything else and just focus on yourself and your meditative practice, so easier said than done. If for 23 hours you are in the YouTube world and everything else, how would you suddenly switch? And so he said, like, if you can develop a practice that for 1 hour, you can just focus on this practice and nothing else, then the transformation will begin, which will end at the top of this pyramid or at the state of satsang or yoga, the definition itself, where you are becoming the transcendental energy. So the question then becomes that what is in that 1 hour that is so transformative, that would, so one, the practice should be, that efficient and effective. And I think what is also, embedded in that statement is that once you realize that you can stay quiet, peaceful, in a thought-free, higher consciousness state for even a little bit, you will realize that's your natural state. That's the state you want to be in. Once you, so interestingly, in one of the sessions, we talked about worry and anxiety. If And when you are thought free, because thought is taking you to the past or the future, and that's what is causing worry and anxiety. So if you're thought free, then you are worry free. So once you get the taste of that, then some of the things that you will learn in that 1 hour, you will start applying to the rest of the 23 hours. And that's how the transformation will occur.
So this 1 hour is just the introduction. So Guru is the ideal, and you want to become like the Guru. So that process is called Chintan. So when we love someone, his picture always remain in front of our eyes, whatever we do. So like that, in the worldly state also, we remember that Guru Maharaj is with us and his eyes are on us, and his grace is coming to us.
Any more questions from the room here? I think we have one question online. Any more questions from anyone which we can take?
Good.
We have one.
Probably a very basic question. So we talked about being worry free and all that, right? I think the more you get, more you move to this other states, won't you really feel connected more to all the souls in the world? And because of all that suffering that you see around, you would feel more connected to it, no? See, now as a normal human being, maybe I'm connected only to my family. And if something happens in that circle, I get impacted. But as I move more and more, when I look at, okay, say there is a train accident, there is something, all that, right? All that would also worry you, and then also I'm a little confused about, see, when we go and do our day-to-day affairs, we read a lot, we understand the world, and in the other layers we see a lot of crime, a lot of stuff, a lot of this, and then there is an element of hate that comes to your heart, maybe towards a certain community or a certain set of people, and then there is an anger. So what happens to all these emotions, and where does it sit in the mind, and how does all this impact?
So great question. And it gets asked quite a few times too. So interestingly, in the realm of love, what you just described, that suddenly your connection to the family or some people becomes much more wider, and it's not just humans, it becomes like your connection to the nature and all conscious beings just gets much more deeper and broader. However, there is a interesting transformation. So when you are in the realm of mind and lower, so realm of the world, realm of life, and realm of mind, we are very desire driven, expectations, the emotions are overpowering, sometimes even consuming, like anger would just consume us, and those kind of things are within the three realms, very, very common. Now, if you see beyond, so once you have control over your mind and what it is thinking, I think Mohitji, you had given one example of, I think Alexander the Great last time, where he, acquired and more power, more possessions and more possessions throughout his life. And at the end said, like, see, I'm going, without taking any of this with me. So there are certain other realizations that happen beyond that realm of mind. Once you control your mind and you start, like in the realm of knowledge, Ritambra Buddhi, which is like rewiring of your brain happens, and that is how you connect to things totally differently. Now you realize that, what is happening, it's almost like, in some places they mention that you connect with everything and you also don't at the same time. So there is deeper empathy, there is deeper love, but then you also realize that not only you are here temporarily, everything else is as well. So it is not that your empathy is less, your empathy is a lot more, but your association, or as Buddha said, your miseries are caused by your attachment. So when you're not attached, you look at these things that you're describing in a more holistic way, and in the sense that everything here is temporary. So it's not that, if you act one way or the other, it's like the yamas and niyamas, which are, like to give up violence, one person at a time, is why we are here. The reason we need to follow these things is that, yes, the negative force, the negative things are faster and much higher in number, but the slow moving positive force has a very, very deep impact. And interestingly, I mean, I don't know if when I watched The Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, what I found was that the negative forces in the first one were in thousands, in the second one in hundreds of thousands, in the third one it was in the millions. And in each one, the positive forces, the number was much, much, much less, a small fraction, but the positive always won. It's kind of an interesting thing that the positive energy is always at work. Sat is always there. So satsang is, you become that small number which has a slow but steady but a very significant impact internally and externally. So hope that makes sense.
So you must be remembering about Bhishma Pitama. So when he was lying on the bed of arrows, he asked Lord Krishna, "Yeah, I have never done anything wrong in my life. Why I got this bed of arrows?" So he gave him the ability to look in the previous birds. So once he was going through a jungle and a snake was in front of him, and he just cleared the snake with the wooden stick, and that snake went to a thorn uh, bush and he died there. So the every action gets reaction. So whatever comes to us, we must have done something bad to the someone else. Question?
But however small, you know, the positive things, small positive things make, you know, us continue to fight the inner and outer forces that are, you know, coming at us as a individual, as a society, as a, you know, as human beings. So we need to, the positive, like the negative force was always there, the positive force is also always there. And choice is yours, which way you lean, which way you connect, where, you know, how you continually stay on the positive side.
Any more questions? Okay, if not, I would, on behalf of Ramashram Satsang Mathura family, I would want to thank you all for attending this session. I would also want to thank Pujya Mohitji and Pujya Sanjeevji for enlightening us with their inputs. We do have dinner arranged for everyone, so I would request all of you to please join us for dinner. And of course, if there are more questions, we can continue over dinner as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskar.